One of the most powerful keys to working with magic is to understand that the permanent change that you seek from magic is the change of personal transformation. Once you personally decide to transform, everything else will transform with you. A lot of these changes will be permanent, whether for good, bad, or neutral. But the first thing you have to change is yourself. The first thing you're doing when you're doing magic is changing the belief that the situation is impossible to change, get through, overcome, or transform. Because magic is the art of giving it your all internally to demonstrate how willing you are to see how different it could be externally. If you're willing to believe internally that no matter what's going on in the world, there is a perfect home for you. There is a perfect career for you. There is a perfect purpose for you. There's a perfect relationship for you or relationships for you. There are perfect people for you and that everything can be okay for you. Once you are willing to believe that, without having to genuinely compare your belief against somebody else's belief or strength of that same belief, you're going to be golden. You have to believe that whatever it is you are doing magic for is possible for you. If you are a Black woman and you are an American Black woman and you're like, consuming Instagram and TikTok and other media like podcasts that are telling you that you are too old, too undesirable, too dark, too this, too that, too whatever. You have to believe that that's not the case. You have to believe that. You have to believe that no matter how limited people tell you things are, that scarcity is not your mindset. I say this because a lot of the women I work with are Black women. And they're of different age ranges, but at every level of age, there is some sort of scarcity implanted in them to believe that there's too many other women, there's too many people without control, there's too much to compete with. They've aged out, or because they're a certain age, they should be like more available for less than desirable circumstances. That they're too this, too that, and like, you're even making too much money. All of that is scarcity. You have to understand how scarcity works. Scarcity is a demon that plagues us in so many ways, all of us. If scarcity can't use you, it will abuse you. And this is what I mean. Scarcity will have somebody telling you, there's 10 of you to one of me. And in your mind, that person wants you to believe that you're the one that needs to step it up. That person wants you to think that. But the truth is maybe that person should be the one stepping it up, because if all you have is the fact that we outnumber you, so now you have a lot of decisions to make. What if all of us qualified you and you weren't like qualified to even compete, but you think you are because you have temporary access? See, the idea of women needing to get their balance and release doesn't sit well with a lot of people, especially in certain demographics. But the truth is, regardless of your gender identity, or where you fall on the side of the gender war, and the wall that's being built between us, scarcity needs to be released from your mindset in order for you to think and believe and begin to be willing to believe that there is somebody or multiple somebodies out there for you. You cannot believe that there are so limited resources that you can only have just one and that it's a one-way street. Everybody can choose to have one or more than one. Houses, cars, people, jobs, whatever the fuck you want to do, whatever it applies against. Um, Getting over your scarcity mindset is important to securing your belief in having what you want, because chances are scarcity is behind the reason why you don't have it and the reason why you don't think it's going to happen, even if you want it badly. The next reason is worthiness. You have to step into worthiness. Magic can bring events and miracles into your life that show you that you are worthy. And it can make things that felt out of reach very accessible, very magnetic, very normalized. Magic is a great way to normalize a new reality with a set of new beliefs. But the beliefs have to take root long term in order for things to change long term. You cannot change everything, you cannot change everybody, but you certainly can change a lot by structuring your energy to move with the current that you want it to. And that starts with the belief system. Any candle you light, any deity or spirit you call on, any prayer you send to the Most High, it cannot work without at least the seed, the size, a seed of faith. Uh, Even if it's as small as a mustard seed, the Bible says. You need some form of faith, belief, or willingness to suspend your current set of beliefs in order to let something new in. If a spell or energy system or magical system works with you, you'll know because usually before you even do the spell, some of the intentions will pop off in synchronicity or in alignment. That's how you'll know that that spell is in alignment with bringing you into that timeline, that your spirit guides and your ancestors and whatever you have around you is in alignment with it, and that you're in alignment with it. Your job, though, is not only to believe, but to be a little realistic as you start to merge timelines and eventually just transition timelines, because the things that you're used to now kind of have to merge with the things that are coming in. And that's where things can get choppy. That's where your beliefs can get played with. But the choppiness is a sign that your beliefs are ironing out. And then you hit a point of smoothness where things have seamlessly integrated, and the things that used to be feel like I can't even believe I was around that. I can't even believe I was thinking that. I can't even believe I didn't have it like this. This is exactly how I want it to be. There's going to be the natural ups and downs that come with it, but you're going to notice that the discomfort comes and goes a lot faster and fewer and far further between each event as you continue to slide where you belong. When you're in alignment, nothing really hurts because nothing's really supposed to hurt. Discomfort is part of life. And when you deal with other people whose energy is not all the way together, you're going to deal with that discomfort because they're sharing their energy with you, even if you're choosing not to share it with them. Like you're exchanging energy with people all day. And most people are not going to have the energetic hygiene that you have to keep their mind, body, spirit, thoughts, subconscious, and focus clean, clear, and constructive. So you have to kind of overperform that for yourself so that when you move through this world where the majority of people are 99% asleep to their ability to think like this and to move like this, you're largely outnumbered by quantity. But the quality of your energy, if you keep refining it through your belief system, as with magic, the quality of your energy will be so strong that you will be the one pierce, the one needle that breaks the camel's back and turns the flow or neutralizes it. There are some people, such as us, you and I, who have the ability when we are genuinely in our element and in our natural alignment to change the vibration of a place and a work environment or an atmosphere. We have the power to do that. It's not that nobody else does, but most people kind of blend in with the default because they don't think that they're affected. They think that if they just plead the blood or they say, I don't ascribe to that, or because I don't believe in it, it doesn't work. Listen, you are here and you have listened to all 9+ minutes of this so far because it makes sense to you in some form. And if it doesn't make sense to you, you're willing to at least hear me out, and maybe one day it will or will not make sense to you. Whatever happens, happens, right? But you're still here and taking what you need to take to do what you need to do. And most people will do that in survival mode. You're here because survival mode, you got so comfortable with survival mode that your ancestors had to kick you right in your rectum and get you up over here. Because I am not a marketer. I'm not marketing this brand. And I feel like because I take this seriously, I don't want to lead the wrong people astray. If this is not for them, I'm not marketing this brand with ads or sponsorship or collaborations. I'm dropping my voice and I'm leaving because that's what I feel led to do. So you're here because you were brought here. You're here because you were led here. You're here because you want your life to be different. And I'm here to tell you on this wonderful day that the secret to magic being powerful is your willingness to believe that things can and will be different. And in order for things to become different, the willingness to believe that it can be different has to start with having faith that it is possible. And in this current reality, in this world that we live in, once this message is over, a lot of people will tell you that this is bullshit. That's not happening. Look at all the other people who look like you or who don't look like you or who look better than you or who look worse than you or have more or less than you. Look how they didn't do it. But despite that, there are people who did. And if nobody else ever has, maybe it's because you're the one that's going to figure it out for all of us and then sell us the system. Because the game is to be sold, not told. And if you crack the code, you're owed every dollar that you ask for. You're owed all the respect that you're trying to receive. And you will receive it. Because you're going to get to a level where you're not going to ask people to respect you. They're going to know it. They're going to feel it. They're going to do it, or they're going to stay the fuck away from you. And that's because your energy will naturally have boundaries and pave roads to create the life you want. In the real world, you need money to do that. In the real world, you need charisma to do that. In the real world, you need to see how people genuinely perceive you. And then you need to look in the mirror and see why they perceive you that way. And then you might need to make adjustments to that. There are things that physically affect you that you will never know about because everybody's different. But if you figure out how to mirror your physical appearance to match your highest effing timeline in the 3D and make it reflect what people see in you and what they want to see in you in a good way, or surprise them or recreate it for them in a good way, you'll be golden. Because again, a lot of my clients are Black women. And depending on what side of wherever you are in the world, there are different stereotypes about everybody. And Black women are either the most educated or the most dumb and hypersexualized. It does not matter. And I mean specifically, like, we're talking like how they treat women of the Black and African diaspora, especially as a Black American woman. Especially. The darker you are, the hornier you are, the less focused you are, and the more it's like you have to be on this extreme side of being so solid and so pure, or they masculinize you. Like, it's crazy. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who generalizes you and who's stupid enough to hold on to that generalization. If that's not how you carry yourself, it doesn't matter. Because the people who reflect that they can't see you for you are the people who will show you throughout the way they carry themselves with everybody in general that they don't pay attention to nothing and therefore they're not worth worrying about. Have you ever worked retail? If you've ever worked retail, you will meet a lot of people who don't even listen. They're very reactionary and have a response before you finish. My mother's like that. It's one of my horrible traits. I've learned to really tone that down, and I've been learning to listen more. But listening to me and my mother talk is horrible because I'm trying to finish a sentence or a statement, but because it's taking too long for her and she wants to respond, she's responding with something that makes no sense or doesn't even relate to what I said. It's just like in the lane, 2 lanes over or 2 doors over because you heard bits and pieces, but you didn't hear thoroughly. Most people are like that. Most people do not thoroughly pay attention to what you said. They're not even reading your text messages. You might be telling somebody 2 or 3 times something, and the truth is they're not listening. So why do these people get to tell you that something's not possible when the truth is it wasn't possible because they weren't fucking listening to hear the details? You're different because we're 15 minutes into this message and I'm still going and you're still listening. You've absorbed what you needed to absorb, and you're going to listen to this 3 or 4 times later on to absorb it again if you feel you need to, because you'll hear whatever you need to hear at the time then. But most people are going to listen once, listen to barely every other word you said, come up with some solution, or just dismiss it in their mind because it's too much work. When it comes to magic, if you want a spell to work, it is not too much work to spend time changing your beliefs. It is not too much work to spend time visualizing a new future. It is not too much work to get on Chat GPT, DeepSeek, or whoever the fuck you want to get on the computer with and say, hey, help me visualize a new life for myself and watch it happen. It is not too much to ask yourself in the mirror. Show me the things I need to get over in a gentle but clear manner, and show me what I need to let go of so that your highest self can reflect back in your real world the people, places, and things that are no longer serving you, that are no longer keeping you secure, that are no longer having an attachment to you that's purposeful for your life or theirs. Most people aren't going to do that. They're just going to want to do what they want to do, put on the Zeus network, smoke their blunt, drink their drink, go to work, go home, collect their check, run it up, flex, go about their business and say, I'm tired. And that's cool. That's on them. But remember that at some point, it gets old. And you're here because it's gotten old. You don't have time for that. So spend at least 3 days, even if it's just 1 minute a day, thinking about where you're trying to go. Think about the place that you want to go that you don't think you can go, the thing you want to have that you don't think you can have, and really give yourself 3 days to think that it is possible and that it is closer than ever, and see if small things in your reality don't fracture to break the illusion that has been holding you back from having it all along. Want a great example? Ask for yourself to see signs of getting married and watch the person that you've been chilling with for the past 3 or 4 years suddenly ghost you. Suddenly you're not talking to them. You don't know why. You try to connect to them. They try to connect to you. It feels dead. It's like a wall's between you. And you're fighting it and you're fighting it and you're fighting it and you're thinking of doing a little reconciliation. But the truth is you asked for the love of your life. And in 3 years, this person hasn't shown you shit but a good time. You have to believe reality when it shifts once you begin to believe differently for yourself. You cannot ask for things to change and then fight for them to stay the same. That's why magic breaks people's hearts, and that's why people say it doesn't work or it'll mess your life up. That's why people will say, oh, I prayed and it messed my life up. Or I did a spiritual bath and it messed my life up. Or, I went to church and everything fell apart. Or, oh, I started doing this, that, and the third, and I lost all my friends because your friends were not aligned to the person that you are that's going to get the things that you want. They're here to let you bullshit about it. They'll let you talk about it. They'll let you practice. But those same friends will be the ones giving you silent cues that subtly sabotage you and keep you from moving forward. Ask me how I know. Some of my best books are based upon things that I have personally experienced, personally seen, personally observed, and have witnessed. So I say this to say, magic begins with the belief that it's possible. And if you want something that you feel is impossible, especially because people say women like you don't get that, men like you don't get that, please believe that's their scarcity mindset. That's their lack of awareness. That's their ignorance talking. You are a child of the Most High Creative God, right? It doesn't matter what deities you talk to. You can talk to Oshun, you can talk to Lakshmi, you can talk to Tiamat, you can talk to Santa Muerte. There is one Most High Creator, regardless of what gender belief you think this Creator has. The point is they are limitless. Whether you see God or Goddess or Lord and a lady, whatever you see, I need you to understand that you are made from limitless fabric and from things we probably haven't even had contact with yet. Your ancestors are your blood, your bone, and your human real estate. They have given you some powerful gifts. But you cannot tune into those gifts if you keep trying to tune into what other people tell you. Your ancestors might have prayed that their great great grandbaby never go through this, that, and the third, but you're going through it because you're allowing yourself to be influenced by the culture of this world. You're supposed to be in this world, not of this world, and that's regardless of whatever path you serve. To be in this world and of this world is to literally go with everything the world puts forth. And that level of mediocrity is why so many people are unsatisfied when they hit certain milestones in their life, because they put their head down and they ignore where time is going. And they don't understand that time is fleeting. Like somebody once said, you graduate high school and then you're like 80 years old. And I'm not gonna lie, like life, I'm enjoying it one day at a time. But time definitely does fly at a certain point, and it's flying right now. Like January was yesterday, today is May, and tomorrow is December. Like it's that fast. And as fast as time can shift, whether you believe it to be an illusion or not, so can you. Your shift, your fastest shift, your most powerful shift is in the mind. It's in your mind. It's in that single solitary belief that yes, this can change. It doesn't have to be this way. You can lose 20 pounds by making a decision that I don't have to weigh 160. I can weigh 140. I don't have to weigh 180. I can weigh 160. I don't have to weigh 350. I can weigh 300. You can make that decision. Then you pair that with an active decision, like walking 10 minutes a day. If you don't even walk 5 minutes a day, walking 10 minutes a day alone will change your life in 30 days. Even if that's all you do, I promise you it will. It's just the fact that your body's doing something different that will make the changes. If you're saying, I refuse not to be a parent. I refuse not to be a father. I refuse not to be a husband. I refuse not to be a wife. You have to believe that there is somebody out there who wants nothing more than to be your spouse. There's somebody who wants nothing more than to be your husband. There's somebody who wants nothing more than to be your wife. If you're into that poly stuff, there's a group of men that can't wait to serve you. There's a group of women that cannot wait to have a sisterhood amongst themselves in the pleasure of you. Whatever you want is truly possible, but it takes you stepping your game up and stepping your ethics up and stepping your value up as a human in this earth. You cannot just sit on your ass and have the bare minimum and be comfortable with the bare minimum and know that you have things that are keeping you from being powerful and choosing to be comfortable in those opportunities that you choose not to strengthen. If you know that you have an attitude problem, you cannot expect to get $25,000 more per year in your salary, much less 50 or $80,000 more, if you don't fix your attitude problem. It doesn't matter who gave it to you. It doesn't matter how valid it is. If you've seen that certain types of people see this about you, or that different people who don't know each other say this, and you're like, everybody says this, but the but is your excuse why you don't want to change it. And you have to work with seeing that. Magic will actually put you in a position where you realize it is costing you, and it may not hurt to realize that, but it may give you a heads up and you'll finally snap and get it and change how you've been showing up. This is important because you genuinely deserve to make a change in your life. but you cannot make that change if you ignore your side of the work, your inner work, the work that starts looking within, that shadow work that they tell you is so fucking demonic. Please tell me how confronting the shit that traumatized you, fucked you up, and limited you is demonic. I don't know, but that's how you know people have never really done shit in their lives. Like, even then, even when people go, oh, I dabbled in the craft and I was high up there. I was a high ranking preacher and I did this and I did that and I summoned demons okay, but were you doing it from a place of justice or were you just doing shit? Because if you're just doing shit, then yeah, shit happens when you're just doing shit. But the reason again that I'm not marketing this, that I'm not pushing this out on people, that you're still here after 25 minutes, you're alive to hear this. This is a message that I cannot just go out here and brand it for the people. A lot of people have turned this message off by now because they don't pay attention. So again, you have to do the work of believing that it's possible because chances are you're in a world and an environment where everybody thinks you are off your rocker, you're arrogant, or you don't know how you look and need to take a look in the mirror. No, there are people who look 10 times crazier than you could ever fathom who are living exactly how you want to live. They don't have the hangups and limitations you have. You inherited a lot of them from your environment, from your parents, from your family, from your bloodline. You were born with some of this. But your ancestors are here now to say, no, we chose you to like look at all of this and transform all of that so that you can have all of the blessings. As a kid, I loved Richie Rich. That was the life I wanted to live. Kid from the projects from Brooklyn. She loves Richie Rich. Am I there? Hell no. Hell no, I'm not there. Life has given me hella detours. But I will tell you, my life is a lot better than I ever thought it was. And a lot of it had to do with my perspective and looking back. Did I go through a lot of shit? Fuck yeah. We all have, though. We all do. And this is not to say that the shit that you go through is not important. It's just to say that we've all got these huge, heavy crosses on our back. We've all got a lot of baggage that we've got to fix. But the intensity of the soil in that baggage, the intensity of the heat that we're carrying, everything that surrounds us, all of that really depends on like what the creator felt you were made for and what you're here to do. And when you lock into that, when you take care of yourself, when you do what's important, when you focus on what you can control, which is mainly how you believe, what you believe, and you allow yourself to be led to whatever feeds you, whether that is a church sermon, because as you can tell, you can hear, you can tell I've been listening to a little bit of that, right? But I'm still going, I guess, fuck. Whether it's a church sermon, whether it is a Buddhist meditation, whether it's Abraham Hicks, whether it's somebody that you love on social media who knows how to remix Neville Goddard, today's style, whether it's a cute YN telling you that everything's going to be okay with a bunch of social media followers, whether it's a girl with some big titties shaking her titties telling you that you're a great person, because I've been seeing them videos too. Whatever you have to do to get to the message. If you don't find the message will find you. Just get in alignment. Believe it's possible. Believe it is possible for you to have a happy, healthy family dynamic. Believe it is possible for you to have all of your children under one roof. Believe it is possible that you and all of your children's parents, because this is going to go both ways, can cohabitate or create a small community because it creates a village and y'all niggas created that village. So y'all are responsible for y'all village and y'all make it happen. Everybody has a place in the interconnecting spokes in the wheel of life. But in order for you to figure out who's a part of your vibration, environment, and community, you have to take a step back and really look at how you're thinking and make it happen. You have to make that shit happen. You have to make it happen from within. And yes, there are ways that you can encourage polyamorous harmony. It's not necessarily my thing, but there's ways to do it. It starts with yourself first. It starts with loosening up this belief that you control people and that people control you. If you want to be a submissive woman and a submissive wife, you have to also begin with the belief that you are worthy of having a man that's worthy of your submission. That does not mean that you get on the internet and tell a man what he's supposed to do. You don't tell a man shit. Men already know what to do. He's been living 30 plus years, 20 plus years before he met you. He will be fine. You don't have to tell him nothing. He knows what he's doing. The same for women. If you have to tell a woman how to behave, if you have to tell a woman what is and isn't, attractive to you in your presence, you don't have to tell her anything. You just let her go with love. You let him go with love. You let people go with love. But you have to believe deep down inside that you are so awesome and bring so much to the table. And genuinely do. Like you genuinely bring value. You're not just sitting up there taking and taking and taking like you're just the king of the jungle. That's not how this works. Or the queen of the prom. That's not how this works. But you have to really add value. You have to be a person of value. You have to develop that emotional, mental. You have the same intelligence that you have with people at work or when you're in social dynamics, you need to be able to develop those dynamics in your personal relationships and in your personal wheel of life. The same version of yourself that you bring to work or you bring to your career or you bring to that thing that you give your best to, you need to train yourself to give your best to everybody that you're around and cut out the people you can't give your best to. You need people that inspire you to step up. You need people that naturally motivate you to go to the next level and make the work look challenging but exciting. You don't need to worry about what somebody else is doing because they'll show you enough for you to know that they need to fuck off if that's needed. But everything from the new car, the new job, to get a new job, you know what you need to believe? You need to believe that there's a better job than the one that you're dealing with. Whether your boss is getting on your nerves, your coworkers are like ineffective or whatever, you have to believe that there's got to be more than this. There's got to be better than this. Something better than this has to come along for me. I know I deserve more. I know that there's more. If you're not willing to believe that, the universe can't just give it to you. They'll just keep giving you new versions of the same thing. That's when people go, oh, I keep dating the same person in different people. I keep meeting the same person in different people. You keep thinking the same thing underneath all of these things that you're experiencing when you're dating these people. Your generalization might be true, but your generalization is true for as long as you believe whatever you believe that creates that uniform effect in people you meet. That's why all men are not the same. That's why all women are not the same. That's why, yeah, I can understand if you say, well, women do this and men do that. Like, yeah, there's a part of me that gets it. I'm there too. I've been there. But at the same time, when I'm really ready to have something different, I have to fight the belief and resist that this is the truth because this is the truth for as long as I have that belief. And now I have to break that belief by having something else presented to me. And if you're not ready to believe differently, the universe will show you in small ways, little things that show you it's not what you think it is. You're listening to the crowd and the crowd is miserable. Only hit dog taller. The quiet and the blessed don't beef with the miserable. They quiet as hell, living their happy lives. That's why you gotta duck off. And that's why when you ask for the Lord to bring you somebody who's special for you, or you ask your higher self, or you ask anybody, or you do a candle for it, and that the person you've been dealing with suddenly just cuts you off or disappears, that person wasn't your person. That person was in the way. You got to accept that. You've got to see that and integrate that acceptance. Hell, sometimes you might realize, you know what, I was trying to give this person a lot of time and I realized that this person does not appreciate me, does not see where this is going, does not see this going anywhere. I gotta bounce. And it's gonna hurt like hell, but you're gonna be like, you know what? You were cool, this was cool, that was cool, but I'm good now. I gotta go. I don't like this, I don't like that, I gotta go. And they might give you that once a month text and that might feel good until you realize I cut you off and you're just texting me to see if I'm still here. I definitely gotta go. Please stop calling me. And if that doesn't work, you have to get comfortable with crying after you block people. Like, let it go. People know how to find you when they care. And if they haven't cared enough to find you before you made this decision, you have to accept that you changed and they did not. Or maybe you both changed, but you didn't change in the same direction. And instead of crying to hold on to that person, instead of doing a reconciliation spell, instead of doing a hex, what if you sat still, felt your feelings, like really just cried it out for like 1, 2 days, just did whatever you needed to do. And then you like really allowed yourself to see what was happening in that relationship that you were holding on to that was keeping you from being who you needed to be, that was keeping you from having the person you needed to have. What were you accepting in that situation that low key was no longer tolerable, but that you're going to miss because you want something to fill the ache that it temporarily suppressed? If you get fired from your job, what was it that you were overlooking that let you know that this wasn't the job for you? There's usually a vibe shift right before things happen. And the longer you try to ignore the vibe shift, the more you draw out the drama of letting go. If you've let go of something and it hurts, be willing to believe right now that it's a temporary hurt because something better is coming. In fact, start thinking about the better that's coming. That other thing that left or that other thing that you had to let go of, it might have been real cool, real cool. But at the end of the day, it was at least better than the last thing, right? Like if it gets better and better and better and it can't help but to get better and better and better, yeah, it sucks that that situation might not have been part of the better. That job might have not been part of the better, that career field. But chances are you'll see in about a year or two why or why not. There are plenty of jobs that I thought I wanted in career fields I wanted to have, either because the money was good or the lifestyle was good, and I would overlook some toxic stuff. I had a job where I was the only black woman they'd ever hired, and my nickname was Token. Now, to this day, I'll promise you, I don't care because I got a check, and they weren't like, it was just, it wasn't, like we were politically incorrect at that office. And, the manager, diagnosed sociopath, by the way, found this out the hard way. The manager said, listen, it wasn't nothing against you, but I have been terrified of black women because of how their attitudes and stuff are. I just, whatever. So I made sure that all of the other women interviewed you first. And once they assured me that you were like, okay, like, then I spoke to you. Now, with that being said, if you're asking me, why didn't you do anything about that? I lived in Texas at the time. I needed to pay my rent and I was getting more money than I'd ever seen at the time, which was like 40K. And I had my dream apartment. I had like my little dream lifestyle and life was popping. I was happy. I was not unhappy. I was happy outside of like little stuff he would do. Like there were times he would force us to work hours and hours and hours to meet a deadline just because. And it was just like wild. But And he also would just be off the wall. Like he would test all kinds of people, all kinds of ways. And it cost us the business one day. And then one day he fired us knowing that he was going to fire us. So I look back, it was never nothing personal. But, when it was time for that job to go, I wasn't even magical or spiritual back then. I was just broken and I was believing in God and tithing all my money and sending out resume. Yeah, at some point I had to learn magic. Like within 3 months of that, I learned magic. I started doing my first sets of spells. Before I would just like sage my home of negative energy and stuff like that. Like love and light, Jesus, please forgive my saging. But like within like a year, I started doing candle work. And then within 3 to 4 years, after another brutal situation, I started doing Luciferian goetic magic and really working with deities and things like that. And um, one thing I can say is looking back, I wish I had known about magic sooner. The deity work could have waited. I don't feel like it definitely would have made my life a lot easier, a lot longer, a longer time ago. But I feel like I learned it when I was ready to learn it without fucking my life up, because there's a code of ethics that you need to have when you're being magical and dealing with spirits if you want to be successful and stay on the right side of shit. Um, but I had to lose that job and be willing to believe that better was out there. And while better took a while to come, I had to work on myself and I had to see the things that I needed to learn as a person that, looking back, were keeping me from attracting better. Some of that had to do with character. Some of that had to do with like aesthetic. Some of that had to do with energy. Some of that had to do with understanding how people work. Some of that had to do with skill building. Like you can have a lot of skills, but have no balance in your personality or how you relate to people, and it'll make you unhireable. Being a personality hire is a real thing, but be a personality hire with value. If you want a better relationship or you want a harem of people around you who do what you say and who accept each other, be a person of such great value. And value goes beyond money. I mean emotional, spiritual, mental, genuine, tangible value to somebody that they genuinely cannot live without you. And don't make it about the fact that there's 10 of you, 10 of them to one of you, or 10 of you to one of them. Like when people start trying to play with your mind and make you feel like you have to overperform and compete and get performative, that is your side, male or female. Get the fuck out of there. I don't care. The person that you naturally want to provide for is not demanding it from you. They're compelling it, or they're seducing it from you, or there's something about them that draws you to giving to them. The person you want to submit to does not demand it from you. They entice you to do it. People want to be enticed. People love to buy, but they don't want to be sold. So when somebody wants you to sell them on something, that is your red flag to walk away. If a job really wants you to jump over the hoops and explain why they should hire you, walk away. They don't want you that bad. They just want to rub their dick and feel the ego of having somebody desperate to have a job. If somebody wants you to jump through hoops and show all of these great acts of love in order to prove you love them, walk away. They don't love you. They love what you do for them. And in this world, people don't love you. They love what you do for them, and they love how you make them feel. And guess what? The truth is the same for you. You love people for who they are and how they make you feel. Sometimes you can catch a vibe and feel something for somebody that it's just great to be around, but a lot of times that shit can get in your way and it can hurt when you gotta let them go. So make sure people are around you for a purpose. Otherwise, they're going to be around you for a season. And even if they're around you for 3 seasons, they could be with you for 3 seasons and then get traded to another team or sign another person's contract. Life will happen. That shit hurts like a motherfucker, but it happens all the time. And the only thing you can do is really have a belief that no matter what it is you are going through, no matter what it is that you're placed against, you could create something new. And that's really the most powerful thing about magic. Magic starts with the belief that it can be different. Matter of fact, it will fucking be different because I motherfucking said so. And if you are open to letting it be, and if you are open to having your way, and if you're open to detaching, you will be beautifully surprised by the things that happen for you, to you, and through you. You will be wonderfully at peace with the circumstances that once broke you. You will be cool as a cucumber, cooler than the other side of a pillow, chilly willy when it comes to the drama people bring. Something that might have triggered you 2 or 3 days ago won't even touch you. Things that used to break you 2 or 3 years ago, you'll laugh at. You'll be like, oh, okay. You won't even have a reaction because it's like, for what? This isn't serving me. This has never served me. I don't even feel aligned. I don't remember the person I was when I first even felt that way about this. I don't even know where that came from. I don't even know what I'm doing with this anymore.